can't take that kind of risk of injecting an Alize Johnson into the lineup.
Why not?
I just think I don't know, man. Like
If they go
I
with
would so do it.
DeAndre,
I agree 100%. Like like I
the
said,
only
none
other
of it is a
option is Blake
accident.
Griffin. The other option is you start Blake when you want to go big. You start Blake as your five.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
Because he can take the muscle. But I would really like to keep him and Claxton together in that backup unit. So
When
my
Harden
whole
comes back,
yeah,
that's gonna be beautiful. When Harden comes back, he could throw oops to either one of them. He could get them open. He could put them in spots where they could both be, like they could run a lineup where they could both be really, really productive with Harden just setting them up. Um, I That's
you can't.
provocative, my friend.
But
Like
think about
Alize Johnson as the starting center.
look.
Mm.
We're gonna have a mismatch with bigs, probably regardless of who we're playing. But don't disrupt the other parts of the rotation by inserting a bench guy into the unit. He's an out of the rotation guy it's like a lot of teams do this when they have like an injury, guys out for a night. They'll start the guy that's not in the rotation because they want
Yeah,
to keep everybody else in the same spot. But you can switch now 3, 4, 5. He can guard threes, fours, and fives,
yeah.
right? And any switch, and so can Green, and so can Durant. Now you're actually able to change the bigs, and then you can, when a guard gets switched, you can scramble and get back. And he just brings the grit. I hate to use it because the Brooklyn grit shit, but he brings grit and toughness and rebounding and offensive rebound and putbacks and energy and anger. And this guy's like he's almost like
He's
a broke Kenny
hungry.
Martin,
He is
right?
he's hungry, and on all these nights, like there's been a couple like when he's not played, the Nets lose. That's really what's happened in the last few games. They played him too late in the Lakers game, and the Lakers game was the game to play DeAndre.
Right, right. And then
I
look, when you're
think they
playing
blew
teams
that
that are
as well.
when you're playing teams that you want to go bigger, maybe or smaller, he doesn't necessarily have to be in the rotation.
It's not just
But I
bigger though, Bam. It's not just bigger because Embiid ate him alive and had more problems when Alize Johnson and Nick
right, because
Claxton was on him.
he confront him, and then when the ball goes over his head, he can recover to
Correct.
get between him and the basket to allow the double to come.
And the other thing is what Embiid was doing to DeAndre all day was he was stopping short in the paint and
Right,
just hitting that little floater jumper
right.
where
He missed him in
DeAndre.
the first half. That's all that happened.
Yeah, he destroyed him. Where with Drummond only has one thing he could do. He wants to go. He wants to do
Right.
go where DeAndre is always going to be, and that's why like I'm just hoping that Nash sees these things because that there's subtle little things that's costing the Nets. Like yesterday against Charlotte, they just out athleted the
Right.
shit
So
out
what
of
was the
DeAndre.
purpose of starting Jordan last night? Wouldn't Johnson have been a better matchup?
Yeah,
He
he,
can he can run, he can get under, he can get into the chest of a big man, and yes, he's going to be giving up height and size. But so what? You're going to have a mismatch there anyway. But now at least you're interchangeable. DeAndre, you want to switch, you can't play DeAndre Jordan if you're trying to be a switching defense.
right.
It doesn't work. Johnson doesn't have to sit in the paint on a ball screen. He can get out, stop the shot, and then recover back to his man.
Yep.
That you can actually have a rotation. And look,
You
I
don't
guess you could
lose
use that with
anything
Claxton,
in
but
rebounding with him out there. Like he's not going to out rebound Drummond, but he's not going to do a worse job than DeAndre is,
no, right,
especially
he'll cause
not.
problems for a guy like Drummond on the other end. Because if you put him in the role player now with Harden
Mhm.
and Irving, Durant, and Green out on the perimeter, spreading the floor for you, he's going to get those Bruce Brown buckets. But he's big. He can jump and finish with the dunk where he doesn't necessarily have to do the
Yeah,
floater
he's a
that Brown
legit
does.
6'8", right? 6'7".
And he's built and he can jump.
Right, right.
It's something I'd at least like to see them experiment with. And then you keep Claxton and Griffin in their backup roles. You have Shamet and Harris off the bench. and then you have one of Harden or Kyrie with that group manning the point.
I think they're too bought into the concept that they're going to try to outscore every single team, and they will. I just think that they need the Claxtons, they need the Alizes. You know, I would play Thug Passion. That's my Alize Johnson nickname, by the way. I would play Thug Passion every night. I just, even if you changed it up rotationally, because like I said, against a Drummond, I'm going DeAndre all day. Against a center, like even against a Utah center, Gobert, I feel like DeAndre could be enough of a problem for that type of guy. But for the guy who's going to take those 15 to 30-foot jumpers like Embiid, like Jokic, right. The Nets do not want to see Jokic.
Yeah, that's
if
not
they're going to
with
start
the
DeAndre. Oh my god!
So I'd rather Embiid have to ball through Johnson than take a 9-foot floater in front of DeAndre.
Right.
And look, that doesn't mean you can't use him in spots, but overall, the best way to do it is have a guy that can pester a player like Embiid, get into his chest, make dribbling hard, make him have to pound through you, and then you send your doubles, and you make Ben Simmons beat you. Right. You stay home on Curry, you stay home on Tobias Harris, and you make Simmons score 40 and beat you.
Who is the figure inside the Nets organization that would keep that from happening? Who's the person do you think is saying no to that? Because to me, one second. To me, Nash kind of is almost try anything type of dude. But I also think that there's a part of Nash that he's making this calculation like, that's DeAndre Jordan. I remember him. I played against him. Like, these dudes are beasts. Like, I can't put my career on the line and play Thug Passion. I can't do that. Is it him? Is it Marks? Is it maybe an organizational idea that says that you don't put young guys in this position where they can fail and ruin themselves forever?
I just don't even think they've thought of the concept.
But it's worked. They've done it by accident.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Do you think they think? Okay, you got to answer the other question, but answer this one first. Do you think they saw that other night where they had that comeback and they go on that 21-2 run? Like, that's not an accident that these kids were out there and brought the team back that way. Like, do you think they're just going, it was a Friday night?
I think they're just like, kind of like we ourselves have done, is the foot kind of went off the gas, and credit to our guys or credit to our opponent for, playing to the end. But I don't think they took enough stock into it.
Yeah.
I think they've stumbled upon something with Johnson guarding a guy like Embiid in spurts, because he can just constantly pester him. You're going to have to shoot over him and through him. Whereas with a guy like Jordan, he's basically just giving up 6-7 footer. Eventually, so when he was trying to bang with Embiid was trying to bang with Jordan could hold his ground. Then he realized all I got to do is face this guy up, take 2 dribbles. He's going to keep backing up, and I'll just take a 6-footer.
Yep, and he killed him.
Right, and I'll hit that all day. Then he'll come out on me, and I'll draw fouls, and I'll sink my free. He's a monster. He is an absolute monster.
He is. He's like Shaq with skills.
He's the most talented big man I've ever seen. Well, I guess Jokic you'd have to throw in that mix too, but
Jokic,
in terms of like a skill set.
No, and Hakeem Olajuwon couldn't have wasn't allowed to do some of these things.
Right,
he could
they didn't practice that stuff.
Right?
Could they have figured it out? Probably, but they didn't. That's just the way the game was played.
No, exactly. But back to this situation, right? I all day am with what you're saying, and I think the reason why, like, if you would have told me this 2 weeks ago, as much as I like Alize Johnson, as much as I'm like, I want him to play. If you had said this to me 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, or even a week ago, last weekend. If on our last pod, if you would have said start Alize Johnson at center, I would have said you're fucking crazy. But the results on the court, he really was. It wasn't like he did it by himself. It was him and like they put Embiid back in, and Embiid started going on this little tried to go on this little tear, and him and Nick Claxton really took it to him in a way that I think could be integrated into the superstars that we have. And every time he's been on, he's matching Nick Claxton in positive minutes, and he's playing with the worst players on the team. I think there's something to this kid.
If we're trotting lineups out that have Durant, Harris, Irving, and Harden in them, the defense, we don't have a five that can cover all our ills.
No.
It's not going to be – it's going to be – look, in this, it's going to be tough for the other team too, no doubt. But it's going to be hard for us to get stops. I really want to get Harris out of the starting lineup. Yeah. If they want to play Durant at the 4, then you start Shamet. Every game, we get up to bench starts, Shamet and the bench guys come in, and the defensive level intensity picks up, and then we go from there.
Right.
I'd like to see integrate that. I got to be honest, like, maybe I'm overreacting. I feel like Shamet's ceiling is higher than Joe's. Over the next couple of years. He's a better athlete.
Can I address that? Can I address that? You're 100% right. Please finish. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I was burying the guy early in the year.
Same.
But I see. The one thing he can't do is dribble the ball, though. He is terrible when they play him at the point. That's not his fault, but he jumps well. He's lankier. He's just a better overall athlete.
Right.
Where was Joe Harris at that stage in his career? He was just starting with us and trying to, find his way into the NBA. And Joe's problem is he can't guard twos and he can't guard bigger players.
He's an effort player, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need those guys to win championships. And I'm not even saying, Shamet over him, on the long run or whatever. But what I have noticed, Joe Harris doesn't hit big shots consistently. There's been a lot of times where a run could have been had, especially recently. And it's hard to say that because the guy was shooting 50% at one point.
Right.
But it just seems like he's a lot more of a downhill sledder, if you ask me. And it seems like Shamet can more kind of pull you from the depths and is more of a game. Like, I think Joe Harris is the portrait boy for being the poster boy for being a gamer. But at the same time, it's like he's limited. He's limited by his size. He's limited by his athleticism.
He has no lateral quickness.
And
he's white. Let's just say it. He's white.
He's very white.
That's the biggest problem Joe Harris has.
He's very
it's
white.
It's worked for him in every other avenue of life. It's been positive.
Yeah,
once he stepped on the basketball court, it became a negative.
I just think that there's not enough running through the jungle in his DNA, and what I just said was, if you said it, would have been very racist.
Yeah, right. You said that part, not me.
But still, I just don't want to. I look at his free throw shooting as a kind of like as a harbinger of someone when put on the spot, he's not going to hit all of these threes that we need. And Shamet is, I don't know. It's like we've empowered him. He's gotten comfortable, and I think being able to kind of like play them against each other or put them on the floor at the same time makes it where we really are kind of failure proof. Shamet can, elevate better on his shot. And look, this is not to disparage Joe Harris. This is more of a, Shamet recognition of what he can bring. Right.
He's just, he's a better two-way player. He doesn't shoot it as good as Harris, but it's close enough.
I agree. I'm with it. You've made me change my mind. I love Joe. I'm biased. You know what I mean? He's our guy. He's one of our guys.
I love the guy.
And but I don't know, man. Something about that 75% free throw shooting, it just makes me not trust him.
I don't even think it's that high, man. I think it's lower than that.
Oh yeah, I gotta look it up. Tell me while I'm looking that up. Give me talk about KD for a little bit. Like, he's a superstar. it scares me every time he gets knocked down. But